Right on.
The whole world is watching. The whole world is watching.
New strategy or the same one every time?
They're gonna look scary.
Persistent, and people are, assembling like this and coming together as a community. And after the end of the day, like exercising.
No!
You missed it. Did you catch it?
And during that time, I was working primarily in a food tent. I was coming down there after school and after work almost every day serving dinner. We were serving about 1,500 meals a day, which was pretty amazing. And I just got to be really close with a lot of people down there and heard a lot of stories. And a lot of people telling their personal stories. And when I first got there, I didn't even know if I was going to stay. I was kind of, the first couple of days, I was kind of questioning, okay, but over time, it became more and more apparent to me that leadership is totally given to them by the people in their committee by consensus. It's not something where they just took leadership and like, I'm taking this on.
Okay.
So it's completely democratic in the way that democracy is supposed to be, not like our,
Just totally
pseudo-democracy.
I mean, that sounds beautiful, but where's that do for organization though?
Well, it's interesting. I think no social movement has ever been organized like this on this scale, and there's going to be some growing pains, and we have experienced them. I mean, it's difficult, not only because it's not hierarchical, but also because we have people of all different political views here.
Right.
People with all different, like pet issues, and I've never seen that in any social movement before. It's very fascinating.
Right.
So we're building something completely new here from the ground up, and a lot of it is improvised. We're just kind of seeing what works. We're kind of like experimenting, and we've managed to keep a good amount of coherence and group unity, I think, for the amount of diversity that exists in this group.
I agree.
Mic check! I got a question for you all.
More and more wealth is in the hands of fewer and fewer people.
Yeah.
But how do you really stop that on the street level though? I mean, what do you do?
That's the difficult part. I think one of the beautiful things about this movement is that we haven't made any demands, and that's also unusual of a movement like this. It's thrown everybody off. It's thrown the police off. It's thrown the politicians off. But having this open-ended demand has, I think, shined a lot of light onto this issue, and the changes are starting to build, but they're building very slowly. One change that happened, which might seem insignificant, but I think is very significant, is the dropping of the debit card fees, which was in the works for several different banks, and I think largely because of our pressure and because of the campaigns to move money from the banks to the credit unions, they got freaked because it was just a dent in their pocketbook ultimately, but they saw wisely that could snowball and eventually. Right. And again, it's going to build slowly. Our numbers are building slowly. And also I think we're finding our voice, like any social movement, especially a social movement like ours that starts out with many different voices. Finding a unified voice is going to be the challenge for us, and that's what we're kind of trying to do. We just started something called a Visioning Council, which is going to bring committees and caucuses and tribes all together to kind of work out a short-term and long-term vision for the movement and coordinate actions around that vision. But I think it's going to be open-ended. I think ultimately we're kind of shooting for the moon in what we're asking for. But I think we have to. I think we're in a time where the infinite growth economic paradigm is destroying the planet.
Right.
It's destroying everything, and infinite growth on a finite planet, eventually it's suicidal. It's going to destroy everything. So we need to have a sustainable economy, and that's not like maybe. That's like we need it to survive as a species.
It's sort of a wide sweeping type mandate is what's going on here. I mean,
oh yeah, it's very wide sweeping. And I think it has to be. You can't. People have said, well, can we narrow it down to like 5 or 10 demands? And my answer is no. I mean, how many things are wrong with our system? 100,
yeah,
1,000.
healthcare, everything from healthcare to
yeah. how are you going to fit that on a flyer, like the convenient, 8x11 flyer? You can't. So this, people are going to have a diversity of issues, and that's great.
So what do you predict is going to happen next? I mean, is the public opinion in favor of the police right now, or is it what direction is it going for the short term?
Well, in Portland, the police they could have curried public favor had they not used brutality in clearing the camp. Some friends of mine went to the hospital, got batoned. A friend of mine got batoned in the chest, and they were totally, just sitting there non-violently holding their ground. I think also Mike Reese, him lying about the whole rape thing. I don't know if you know about that. Him saying that there was a rape that they couldn't attend to because of Occupy, and it turned out it was a lie. That shot down his mayoral hopes, and I think it turned public opinion back kind of towards the middle when it would have swung against us. Right. So I think at this point, if my concern with this movement is demonstrating sustainability as a movement, and I think if we can do that in this city, demonstrate sustainability. In the springtime, we're going to start planting gardens. We're going to try to feed the movement locally as possible, and we're going to try to do actions that focus on building sustainability and not just tearing down the old system.
Right. A lot of people on the outside looking in just wonder what the heck they're really doing.
Yeah.
But when there is a need, they're here for a reason. If you ask me, it's produced a sum total of years of bad government.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Oh yeah. I mean that's a big part of it. And it's bad government, and I think also as a people we have there's a misperception of power. And I was just speaking to John about this.
Yeah.
I think a lot of what this movement comes down to, and us retaking these parks, is not even necessarily about the parks, it's about power. And I think people have become afraid in our society to stand up because the state apparatus has learned how to use power that's not even really power. I mean, people have come to view weaponry and uniforms and militarized society as power, but it's not.
Might makes right type mentality.
Right, might makes right, exactly. And to me, it's a false perception. To me, nonviolent social movements throughout history have proved that the power is much greater than weapons.
Oh yeah,
and
look at the fall of Eastern Bloc countries.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Look at the end of the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
Chiefly because of the protesters, really.
Yeah. I think what's gonna happen is that people are going to emerge as I don't want to use the word leaders, but because I think in this movement we're kind of demonstrating everybody has to become a leader. But I think
totally understand that
people will emerge who are able to articulate things a little bit better. Who maybe will be able to. The people around them will feel like it's okay for them to speak.
They're for the cause, period.
Right. Yeah, they're for the cause. Exactly. That it can't be
not for the
anything,
power.
It can't be for anything else. It can't be for the power. You have to realize that the power is in the cause, and the power is in each one of us to be leaders. It's not, this is not a hierarchical thing where the power lays with one person and everybody else is underneath.
Put ego aside, pretty much.
Yeah.
I think I'm running out of battery juice here.
Okay.
I really appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot. One more time, what was your name?
It's Adam.
Steve Conrad,
Steve. Nice to meet you. Thank you for doing this. Thank you.
I'm more than happy to, dude. I'm going to do some quick editing on it.